Yugioh Anime Games. This is Blue.
And Delta.
And today we're going to bring you guys our deck profile for our retrained modern Joey deck. We just want to quickly throw out before we get into the deck profile. There are so many ways that you could build these modern retrained decks. There's a lot of specific retrained monsters, and there's also a lot of archetype support for some of these characters. And so what we've done with ours is we try to do the best we can to rebuild the character's deck using retrained monsters and retrained spells and traps, but without going too heavy into some of those archetype support. So you'll see that in this video.
So starting off, we actually have an old school monster. It is Axe Raider. We don't have a full 40 retrained cards and archetype cards we really like for Joey, so give us a retrain, please come. Red Eyes Black Dragon. This has to be in here. So you'll see we have like Dark Magician Yugi's deck too. Blue Flame Swordsman goes along with all those nice new Flame Swordsman cards that we have.
So obviously it's an older card, but arguably it's one of the first retrains. Comrade
Swordsman of Landstar. Yes, another early retrain. I mean, its effect isn't very applicable, but I mean, we're going to put it in here over the original. Fiber Jar, a strong card that we saw of Joey's. Again, you will see some of his cards from the anime in here. Fighting Flame Swordsman. This we think of as like the Flame Swordsman retrain, played in the main deck. We're really happy with this one.
Yeah, this was really great to have. So Flame Swordsman is one, like, has a lot of support for it, and we grabbed some of that in here because it was awesome, but not all of that. So, Lacey, we just want to throw that out there before you guys get too into this and wonder where all of the Flame Swordsman support is. There's a lot of it. It's really cool that they took him in that direction, but not quite the direction we were looking for, because you've seen already now how many cards of Joey's were in here.
Then we have Gearfried, the Red Eyes Iron Knight. Much like Flame Swordsman, there are a bunch of Gearfried cards. Not all of them make it in here, but this is our Gearfried retrain that we really liked. And we also usually will defer to newer cards. If you saw us in Yugi's deck, there's a lot of retrains for the same one. We'll look at, are the stats the same? We'll look at, is it newer? You can build your deck differently, of course. This is where we're going. Guiltia, the D-Knight Soul Spear. Really cool. Love a good Guiltia retrain. Bunch of powerful effects added. I like that this one lets you summon itself out.
Just like Joey tried to do. So it has that nice homage to its misplay in Battle City. And then, of course, its effect lets you grab some of Joey's most iconic monsters.
Yep, very cool. They did that like attribute plus type with the levels that you can grab.
So really, as far as retrains go, one of, I think, the most retrained retrains.
Another really early retrain. Goblin Elite Attack Force. There's a lot of other Goblin Attack Force monsters that have ended up in the archetype. We felt like this was the retrain, so we included it in here. Okay, this one's really cool. 100 Dragon, a main deck retrain for 1000 Dragon. So, really fun effect, and yeah, we're just so happy to be getting these cards. In one of the latest TCG expansions, core expansions, we got more cards for Joey.
So that's something we would have called retrain adjacent, because it's not direct copy off of 1000 Dragon, but it's clearly based off 1000 Dragon.
Yep.
Here's the original Jinzo. Enough said.
Here's Jinzo the Machine Menace. So here's the retrain. Then we have Marauding Captain, which we think is a good fit for this retrain Joey deck. That being said, when we hopefully get more retrained cards for characters like Joey and Kaiba, you will see some of their original cards, you know, like maybe it's Marauding Captain, drop out of here. Metal Illusionist, the copycat retrain that we got very recently. Very happy about this one. And by the way, guys, if you like character decks, you like the anime, you like retrain decks or top 10 videos about the anime, you should subscribe and hit that notification bell. Moving on, we have Mirage Swordsman, a Mirage Knight retrain that goes along with Joey Flame Swordsman support. This is one that we're really happy to get. This is a cool card. Red Eyes Black Alternative Dragon. So this is why you saw the Red Eyes in here, right? So we can play this retrain version. Kaiba has Blue Eyes Alternative Dragon. Joey's got Red Eyes. Red Eyes Black Full Metal Dragon. I'm so glad they gave us a retrain of Red Eyes Black Metal Dragon. This one's just awesome. Rocket Warrior. Another one of those original cards.
That I would love a retrain for.
Please.
It's really cool as it was, and then they can juice it up more. That'd be fantastic.
Time Wizard.
Another OG Joey monster.
Yeah, this is in here. Gotta be in here. Paladin of Dark Dragon. Again, great Joey card. Helps us pull red eyes. We really want to include this in here while we use some of Joey's original cards. And then, of course, Dark Dragon Ritual to go along with it. Dragon Nails. We're very happy we got this one printed. And unlike with our anime duels, where we play this card with an errata defect, because they gave it a lot of stuff that would just not make sense in Duels Kingdom decks, this one, we don't play the erratas for these retrain decks, so we get to use the full power of this card. And by the way, guys, we are affiliated with TCG Player. We got a lot of the cards for these decks on TCG Player. And you're a longtime fan of the channel. You've definitely heard us talk about this before, but you can support the channel by using our TCG Player link in the description down below the next time you're ordering some Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Fighting Flame Sword. We're so happy we got all this Flame Swords in support. Like Blue said, it's not all in here. This felt like a card we wanted in here, though.
Definitely.
Foolish Burial. We've gotten new versions of Foolish Burial. We didn't feel like they really served the deck. We kept this one in here. Graceful Dice. Retrain, please. Hey Trunade, a retrain of Giant Trunade. Red Eyes Fusion. You saw this with Yugi's deck too. We really wanted to put these new versions of the fusion spells in here, not just have polymerization in every single retrain character's deck. Salamander Fusion. This is the spell card we have in here as the retrain for Salamander. It's an equip as well. We think that this was something that made sense for us. Spell card Monsterborn. We are so glad that we got a Monsterborn and a Soul Exchange retrain. And you've seen this one in Yugi's deck. Spoiler alert, it's going to be in more of the retrain decks. And then Super Polymerization. So Joey has a lot of fusions besides the Red Eyes cards we make with Red Eyes Fusion or some of the Flame Swordsman stuff. And again, we were thinking, what is a retrain or what is an updated version of polymerization that we could use here? Super Polymerization. Not everybody may go this route with their retrain decks. Others will include more archetype cards than we did. But we were happy with this choice.
And while there are a lot of polymerizations out there, and Super Poly was originally a GX card, we felt this was really hard to beat, though, in terms of, polymerizations.
Moving on to the traps. Bottomless Trap Hole. It's a good Joey card. Double Magical Arm Bind. A Magic Arm Shield retrain.
So that was already from an older Joey deck, but it's not to say that characters haven't already had retrained versions of some of their cards, but just never to this extent.
Drastic Drop-Off, which is a drop-off retrain we got quite a while ago. Scapegoat. Not as lovable as the original, but hey, we got a Scapegoat retrain, we're going to put it in here. Flame Swords Dance. Again, a lot of the really cool Flame Swordsman archetype support, but not all of it ends up in here. We're trying to make sure this feels like Joey's deck.
And again, to that effect too, is there is so much Red Eye support out there, but we didn't want to drown out this deck with Red Eye support. It's really supposed to be a Joey deck, not Red Eyes.
Then we have Max Metalmorph. We're glad we got this one. Next up, Red Eyes Fang with Chain, and I'll just put them together, Salamander with Chain. Kunai with Chain reprints, but we really wanted to give both of these some love.
So we thought this added some nice diversity to the deck by having each of them together.
Then we have Skull Dice. Graceful Dice is in here. Skull Dice is going to be too. And the last card, Trap Hole of Spikes, which Joey didn't play Trap Hole, but this is in the archetype or an updated version of Trap Hole. However you want to look at it, know the card of Joey's. It's going to be in here. And then Joey has quite a lot of fusions. And here is where we were able to play with the Flame Swordsman archetype a little bit. Fighting Flame Dragon. We wanted to give him a couple options when it came to some Flame Swordsman fusions. The original Flame Swordsman, which when you play anime duels is errata to be in the main deck. Here, you can actually summon it, fusion summon it with some of his cards. Really cool to get to summon this out as a fusion. Guilty Gearfried, the Magical Steel Knight. We did want to put this Gearfried fusion in here as well, in addition to the main deck Gearfried. Again, we're not going to shock pack this full of Gearfried retrains like Yugi would be full of Gaia retrains. There's plenty, but this one we wanted to include as well.
Now, while its fusion materials may be inspecific, it is clearly a fusion of Guilty and Gearfried, which is why it got a straight ticket into this deck.
Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. Anybody that played competitively in the last few years is familiar with this card. It's strong, but we want this in here, make it with Red Eyes Fusion, to make it Super Polymerization too, but it's very fun to expand these decks and let these characters play with some modern cards that, I don't know, maybe if they are making out today, they play with. Time Wizard of Tomorrow, the retrain. That's why we have Time Wizard in here, so we want to be able to summon this one out. And then Joey's last card is Ultimate Flame Swordsman. Again, Fighting Flame Swordsman is a retrain. It's really cool. It's got to be in there. We didn't want to leave this one out too. It's like the Ultimate Flame Swordsman retrain.
So, like we've said, our retrain decks are meant to capture the variety of cards played by our main characters, but with the updated versions, which isn't just the straight retrains, but also is, some of their more boss versions like this. And so, again, while we're not trying to drown out the deck in like a lot of Flame Swordsman support, though, we definitely want to hit it off with some of these, high-performing, upgraded monsters. So,
and that's it for Joey's modern retrained deck. Let us know what you think about it and what you might include in yours in the comments.
Thanks, as always, for watching.
And if you like this, we have over 100 different character decks on our channel. So check those out for some more awesome content.
And so you don't miss any content, make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell.